And I'm back in the hot seat after having a 5-minute break. I just got myself some beans for my lunch and cracking on to the next video. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to the process of starting a track, because it's very overlooked. Is this? A lot of people, come to me and say, "Oh, I can't quite get my sound like I want it, or it's not doesn't sound like no labels will sign my tracks and things like that, and have you got any advice and help?" And you've really got to study about what you want to make, because it's important, because there's a lot of things to factor in about when you're creating music. It's quite easy just to sort of like pick up a Moog synthesizer and start jamming away, or pick up a banjo and then a tambourine and put them all together and then be like, they're all really cool, but they don't go together, and it's a bit weird, and it's like, it was fun, but it's not really going to sit at a label. So you have to really think about everything. There's a lot of factors, and I'm going to just go through those and how to sort of approach it if you're a little bit lost musically, or you need some sort of guidance, or if you're getting stuck in certain parts. It's really important to overcome that and see where you're going wrong, or even just see where you can improve. Some people might not have this problem. A lot of people have a great ear for taste. They really know what sounds are on point and things like that. But it's just if you do struggle in this area, I think this this chapter will be for you. So check it out. We'll jump in. Okay, what I did was I randomly didn't take very long. Just randomly picked a load of tracks off my hard drive, off my memory stick, and threw them into Logic. And the first thing I'm going to do is, so I'm going to find out what sort of style or what sort of thing I'm going to go for. These could be all my favorite producers, excluding the bottom one because that's me. These could be all my favorite producers, or the tracks that I'm really vibing at the moment. It's what I really want to create. I want my sound to be like that. So it's really helpful if you do this, if you reference. Referencing's a key thing in music production. Like anything, if you were working in TV or film, or you're working in like audio, and you were doing a lot of brief stuff, you'd get a brief, and you'd get maybe a Spotify playlist, or you'd get and you had to create something for an advert. So it'd be a similar sort of thing where you have to do your research, you have to look into it and think, right, today I'm going to make an opening scene in, like, say, Braveheart 2 or something in the movie. What did they use in one? What speeds, what tempo, and all that kind of thing. So not saying that, because most of you will probably be electronic music producers and you just want to be playing your tracks out, but this really does help, because if you're on the wrong lines, I mean, I had to learn the hard way. For a lot of years I was just trying to fuse things together, like put meat and fish together and stuff like that, and it just didn't work. So what first thing I'm going to do is get the tracks that I'm digging at the moment, that are vibing off, and I'm going to zoom right into the beginning. Because of the waveform, that you can see that they all have a different start, so they all don't start on the very first sound in the track. So what I'm just going to do quickly is just go through, zoom in, and start just at the beginning, delete anything at the beginning that's not in use. So you can zoom right in like that. Let's have a look, and just cut that right at the base there. As I say, these are just random tracks. They're a little bit different to each other, so just to give me an idea of what because sometimes you can really like an artist, and you'll find that his sounds are really similar to another artist, but there'll be a lot of things that you haven't maybe noticed because you haven't put them side by side. So you'll think, oh, that guy, or that girl goes really into detail on the drums, and they do this, that, the other, but it might be totally different, but the sounds are similar, and that's the thing to keep in mind. So we'll hopefully go through that. What I'm going to do is just shift all these over here, just put that onto that because I forgot to do it. Put all those so they all start at the beginning, so I know exactly the base start point is bang on. So and then what I'll do is I'll zoom right in. You can see that one slightly. Sometimes really tricky, because if a sound's got, especially a kick drum's got like a slow attack, or it's soft, it can really affect it. So you can sometimes take too much off or too much on. That one, there we go. So just to give an overall view, right? So the first thing I'm going to look at is the BPM. So the BPM is really important. I mean, a lot of these tracks might be in the same ballpark because they're all ones from a hard drive, which are all dance music based. But a lot of these will be similar or in a vein, and that's one thing you'll have to, you know, maybe get 20 or 30 of your tracks, even go into like Record Box or Serato, Tractor, anything you use, compile them all in there, look at what the BPMs are, get all your top 20 favourites, and there'll be a pattern. You'll think, oh, hang on a minute, I like ones between like 110, 118, or like 124, 128, you know, and you'll find that's the sort of styles I've, you know, like the old trance records, or all sort of 90s, 2000 dance records, like 130 BPM-ish, and then it slowed down when the deep house came around and things like that. So it's very important to get the BPM right, because the BPM's the feel, the energy, and everything. So right, so first one I'm just going to look at is side piece and Diplo. So what I'm going to do with this is in my Logic, I'm going to on the master strip, I'm just going to create just a little chain so I can have a look. So the first one I'm going to go to is the mixed in key one. So that's mixed in key, which is useful. I'm going to also get again the meter in, which is the tuner. And there we go, the tuner, and put that there. And then what else after that? I'm actually going to get there's a free plugin called Voxengo Span, which is really cool. This is a free plugin. And just put a Dan Worrell setting on. I don't have a clue who Dan Worrell is, but I saw his YouTube video on how to set up Span on YouTube, and I thought I'll follow his, and he's changed the weights and everything, and then I just tweaked it a little bit to how I liked it. So I've got that on there as well. And one thing I'm going to do, just like most times when I start a track or anything, I just put a limiter on, just in case there's any crazy. I mean, I use lots of limiters. I'll talk about that later in the series. But dynamics, limiter, stereo. That's just to, you know, just to make sure that nothing's going to be flying out of the hemisphere if I've got one of these really high or anything like that. And it just protects your speakers and your ears. And yeah. So right. So yeah. So what I'm going to do is I've got these on here, and actually there's one thing I'm missing, which I said, and that is the inside Logic. You've got in your metering, you've got a BPM counter. So there we go. There we go. Let's have a look. Mixing key, tuner, span. There. All right, span. So you've got a BPM there. So what I'm going to do is just skip through these and just play and see if I can see. You know, this is going to be my first one. Right, and what I'm looking for here is a few things really. I'm looking for the BPM, the energy, which is usually around to do with the key, the elements, the groove, the melody, the rhythms. I'm looking for a lot of things, even the frequency ranges, and then also you've got your imaging. So it's really important, all these kind of things to factor in when you want to create like a signature sound or something similar to a reference. So one thing that you could do is you could go over to Beatport and look at there. That's what I often do if someone comes to me and says, "Oh, this is my reference. It's a track," and then it'll give you the key. And there's the Camelot wheel as well, which is on here, which is on the key notation on there. So if you wanted to do it tells you the 6A, 9B and things. So that's handy. Or if you've got CDJ set up, the Denons, the Pioneers, anything like that, it gives you it shows you in Record Box. So it's really handy. You don't have to do this, but sometimes it's good to know how to find this out, you know, if you want to do that. So yeah, so if I go to, so I know that that's 123 BPM, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just gonna jot it in here while that's playing. I'm just going to see, it looks like 32% G minor. So let's have a look. So I've just made sure that it's G minor using the tuner 1, 2, 3, and also the on flux. sorry, not Flux. Flux is the one up there. I use that quite often, but this is a free plugin. I mean, the one up there is like £400. It's quite expensive, so if you're just sort of starting out, you're better off going for something like this. And what I'm looking for on here is the underlay, which is the side. So when I press play on this, you'll see that the red is the side signals, and then the green is the mono signal, so the mid. So I can see that around here, around 200, there's not much low side information, so that really makes you think, right, well, anything below 200, the way it's been mixed, the style of that, it'll reflect on the the style of the music. So that's something I've noticed in that. So if I was to do something, I'd think, oh, mine might be mono underneath that to give it that same feel. Let's move to the next track. So I'm just going to put in here, not much side below 200. There we go. And then I'm just going to put that on there. And then I believe if you double click on that, copy and paste it, copy it to here, to the region, and then what it'll do is it'll put it on the track. There we go. So that's just saying that one. The next one, I'm going to go to this. Again, press hit play and see what we're like on this one in the middle. Right, there we go. So that one's 127. It's a 127, and that's I think it was D sharp minor. Find the sharp on here. There we go. D sharp minor, and then and then looking at the. And what I'm listening for in this one is because it's a very different record. I'm listening to the groove, the rhythm. It's a lot faster. The energy's more there. So if you were to do what I did in one of the earlier videos with a vary speed, was to slow it down, and you'd be able to understand if it's a similar vibe. You know, if you've got those little swung bits of percussion in there. If it was at 125 or 123 like the first one, would it give the same vibe? And I don't think it would, because it's fast paced. That's giving it the energy and the roll, and that's what you're looking for. So you're thinking, you might be skipping through your favourite tracks, just listening to them, thinking, but we're doing this way. You visualise it, you see it, you think, right, that's in D minor, a bit of G minor. It's like D minor. I wonder if that's better. Is it are the wavelengths shorter when the bass line's in? Does it fit better when it's faster, or is it so there's those things to consider. So I would just make a note of that. It's like fast grooves and sort of like swung, just like that. I'm just making notes so you guys can sort of see what I've been looking for. Then there's another track here. I'm going to go to the next one, go to the breakdown, which is helpful. Clear that. So again, 125, this one is. So this one's in between tempos of the other two, but it's got a very different feel. The sounds in it are very soft. They're not as hard. The kick drums, if you noticed in the low end, when I looked down on Voxengo, you could see in the low end there was a lot of stereo information. There's a lot of space in the mix, and it's in A minor as well, which I believe is all the white keys. Right, so they'd be like A minor, A sharp minor, sorry, A sharp minor, 125, lots of low sides, There we go. So that one, and again, just looking at the frequencies as well, the way they've been mixed, how the sounds are, that all, you need to take all that into consideration, because it's quite easy to open your door and just think, oh, I'm going to make something like so and so today, throw it all together, put a track together, and at the end of the day, play it to your friend, or listen back the next day and be like, sounds a bit like in between styles, or it sounds a little. You can't quite pinpoint what's wrong with it. Someone might just turn around and just go, oh, speed it up by 3 BPM, or change the key to a minor or something like that, and it gives a whole different vibe. Let's have a look at I picked an older one now, so this is a lot older. It's Hideaway 187 Lockdown Mix. So instantly with this one, I noticed the quality is not as good. It's probably a vinyl rip, which would probably affect the sound. And I noticed that if you were going to go for something like this, like an older style track, I'm just going to put into here, it's 130 BPM, then it's on A minor, and then I've noticed it's quite mono, so I'm just going to put quite mono. This is, again, just for your, just so you guys can see what's going on and what I'm getting at. So, so it's quite mono, so that means that, like, the production, they didn't have, back then they didn't have the software, and they didn't have the technology to do, it was quite simple back then. It was a lot of hardware. It was, the things like Atari STs and Amigas and all, Cakewalk and all those, they were quite simple back then, complicated but simple at the same time. So you'd maybe have just a few instruments, whereas now you've got this powerful computers, the software and everything. So it's all them kind of things to take into consideration, that they couldn't process everything like we can now. So if you wanted to create that sound, that style, you'd have to look at, like, are the drums really, are they trashy? Right, I need to make the drums trashy, and I need it to sound like it's been put through a tape or recorded onto a tape and then pressed to vinyl. So you need to take that into consideration on that one. And as well, it's a lot faster, and like, you forget how fast, like I was saying earlier, the 130 BPM is perfect for that sort of style. Up next then, a great track from Cats and Dogs and Claude Von Stroke. This one, the production's unbelievable on this one. I know this one really well. But so again, production style, and if you're making that rough jacking house stuff, that sort of the old Chicago sound, they're like, there's a lot of the old, even the sort of early German stuff, the lock groove looped recorded samples and things like that, all that rough thing, they put through desks and they're smashed, and they get that crispy sort of saturated tape sound. There's all that to take into consideration. Or are they really clean? Are they polished? It depends. All this sort of stuff. If you do your research, after a while you'll see your patterns, and then you'll think, right, I know exactly what ballpark I want to be in. I might even want to do a new version of this, but I want to make it old school sounding. So I want to speed it up by 7 BPM, and then I'm going to make it real thin. I'm going to saturate the tape and all that kind of thing. So there's all the production areas to look at before you even start. So I'm just going to play this one. Right, so this one I've noticed instantly, there's a lot of width throughout the mix. So if you notice at the bottom, the red is corresponding with the sides, which is quite wide. And it's also in C. C minor. So 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, and you'll find that a lot of my tracks are around 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 7, but normally 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 5. But I've made, I can make different styles, but this is what I mean about if I change the style. If I was to do something with a vocalist and want to write her, produce a track for her or him, it would be around, like, say 110, 118, and it'd be more of a pop thing. It'd be different, and it's just sonically making sure that you know, it's all. And this is just to show you that if you start seeing patterns, or if you think, oh, I want it to be like that, how do I get it like that? Yeah, so that one's there, and it's, you know, it's got a wide image on overall mix. I mean, you can make notes on these, or you could have a thing, or you don't even have to do this if you know what you're listening for. That's fine. But for me, when I started out, it was very, very different. It was like something I couldn't really grasp. I just think, oh, I love that record, and I love that record, and I love that one, and I tried to like put them all together, and and that's why it didn't work. So this is great as well if you're doing a remix, or like an edit, or a bootleg, or a DJ edit, just something to play in your sets. You've got a favourite track and you just feel like it's not, you know, you can do this, look at it all, analyse it all, and then chop it up into how you like it. Find out the keys, learn which keys are giving you that feel, because there's some very sort of like diminished and minor stuff that gives you like sort of like a haunting sort of darker side and emotional, and then you've got the uplifting stuff like that. That's a perfect example. It's sort of like C minor. It's that in between, and but it's still got that fun element to it. So, and then this is one of my own tracks. There we go. So I know exactly what that one is, and you'll probably find that 127. Yeah, you'll probably find that if you actually put any of my tracks into anything like this, or if you put it into Beatport and have a look, they're all in like 2 or 3 keys. I rarely go to any other keys unless it's a remix. So D minor, and then, I mean, I'm not going to talk about my own tune because I know. I actually got help with a mix on that one by James Hare, who's also done a Mix Tank video. So I went down and spent the day with him, and we shared a few tips and stuff, and it was really cool. So that's why it's called London It Is. But yeah, that'll be coming out on my label, Prime Society, hopefully this year. As soon as the parties start, the music's coming out. So yeah, so James is a great guy. I learned a lot from him, and yeah, that was a cool track to do. So yeah, again, that one's in between tech house, sort of techno sounds, and all those very FM minor sort of you know, hence the D minor stuff. So looking at that, you know, you've got a vast array of different sort of tracks, and if you think, right, today, you know, I'm going to be making some old school sort of you just think, right, you've got a start point, 130 A minor, and it's quite a mono mix, and I can hear that it's saturated. The drums have been, you know, probably processed and recorded and processed again and stuff like that. Whereas if you want a real clean cut, there's like and I know that the faster it is, the less space you've got for bass lines. So this is why, like the 124, I know it's a modern mix, but you've got loads of low end sub, and it's all in the space. But yeah, so hopefully that'll help you get started out, finding a style really. Also, another thing to actually, before we end this chapter, is the arrangement. So the arrangement's really important, because like, let's go to this one. Say this was an Anjuna track. So if we look at the arrangement, you can start to see that the main piano in that doesn't come in till like 1 minute 30. So that's another thing to like bear in mind, because if you're making a track and you just come in after 20 seconds or 30 seconds and it all fully comes in, then you're doing it all wrong. So you need to look at the pattern of how people are doing it, how your favourite producers are. They'll have that feel. They'll design tracks so when you mix in and out, the elements blend together so well, and they sort of almost morph into one and everything like that. So you can drop out the bass and another bass comes in, and it doesn't all come in at once, unless it's like cut and paste sort of music where it's jump up and stuff. So yeah, just bear in mind, for all your favourite tracks, look at the put your project to the tempo and then go through it. You can even drop this down, go to your markers. So in here I could go, well, that's where the piano is going to drop, and I'm going to put a marker in on that. So if you just press plus there, and then or it's actually put it into there, but then you can move it to there and put I can see that that's the next section, and you can listen and you can rename all this. You can oops, wrong one, that one, there we go, marker 2. Oh, it says move that to there. Actually, I know how you do it, right? So what you do is you do that, and then what you do is you select your area, and then you drag it down like that, the yellow bit, and it does a marker. So then you can put in, you could put, you know, like you could put drop part 2 or something like that, and then that bit there you could just do for, you know, first drop, or like this, first drop. And you can save this in your template, you know, you close that up, and you can see at the top it's there. Also, the really cool thing about this is, well, I think it's cool because I'm sad, but you can change the colours as well, like I did with the things earlier. You can like colour each part. So if you know, you can do that, and that'll be your intro. So that'd be well, it'd be there to there. You can just move that to there. Yeah, that'd be your intro to there. So your first 33, which would be a minute, and then you can just put intro. And if you like this, you know, if you like this arrangement, this would be a breakdown. One thing I did notice is a lot of students that come to me at Most Wanted Audio for one-to-one tuition, if they've ever done any sort of courses, you know, where they've done the online ones or they've gone to academies and things, this is all the sort of stuff they'll teach you that may necessarily not be the most exciting things, but the key things to sort of you know, to learn really. So I can just put break 2 or something like that, break 2, and then just for speed, what I'll do is I'll just do it to the end. I'll just put outro there for, just so you know, it's the outro there, outro. So I guess this covers break 2. This covers your template as well. You could have that as like you could save this now. If I was to delete all that, and do this, delete it all, hit backspace, delete that. Right. So, and then I'm ready to roll. That's it. I can start my project, and it's all there at the top. I kind of know what I should be looking at, what I should be doing. That might be like 125, and then I could change the project to A minor, and then I've got a bit of a template to go with, and you know what, you can keep yourself on track rather than just getting lost in small little loops going on for like 8 days. So hopefully that'll be helpful for some of you, and I'll see you in the next part of Mixed Tank series. Just wanted to let you know these videos are absolutely free. It's a 5-hour tutorial series, and that was one of the parts. So thanks for watching. If you would like to join the journey, subscribe. I've also got a playlist where I travel the world, and I also document it. I do vlogs, and the weird and wonderful world of a touring artist, the highs and lows and everything like that. So if you want to see that as well, I'll put a link below. But also the educational stuff, the mixing and mastering services are also in the description below. Thanks again for watching. Your subscription means a lot to me, and keep creative, keep making the tunes, keep, you know, pushing on, support each other. Much love. GAWP out.